Yeah, let me get started. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our LinkedIn Live session today. My name is Sean Finder. I'm the CEO of AutoClose. And we have a very interesting topic and fun topic we're going to talk about today. I'm going to be giving some tips on how to prepare for Q4. So we're in October. It's October 2 right now, and everyone finished hopefully the Q3 strong. So I want to kind of give you guys some tips and tricks on how to prepare for the quarter, so you guys can make it the most successful one this year. While we're waiting for people to come join, in the comments section, just let me know where you are calling in from or where you're listening from, where in the world you are, what you do, what your company's called, and also throughout the presentation. If you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know, as I will answer the questions right after. Or if I can, throughout the presentation today. So let me know how your Q3 was to start. Well, we have people coming in. Looks like we have a lot of people coming in to join and to view. Hi, Tim. Hi, Kevin. Hey, Bill. I love this topic. I love talking about how to prepare. I know at our meeting yesterday morning at our office, we talked to our SDRs, our account executives, as well as our VPs to kind of prepare for Q4. It's going to be, sometimes you want to hope the end of the year is coming and you think it's going to be slow, but that is not the case. So hopefully you guys can take some of the stuff and tips I give you today and use that as we move forward throughout the end of the year. Perfect. Well, let's get started. So we're going to talk about how to prepare for Q4. Just a few reasons why I think I should tell you why you need to prepare for Q4 is this. First off, a lot of buyers are trained to buy at the end of the year. You might be asking, well, why are they trained? They're trained because a lot of companies come out with Black Friday discounts and year-end discounts. So people sometimes wait till closer to November, December, just because they feel that you're going to give some sort of discount. So keep that in mind when you are prospecting, when you are getting ready for the end of year surge. Next, at the end of the year approaches, prospects will also divert excess money. So I've had companies that call, my company AutoClose as well, exchange leads, and they'll call and say, hey, I have $5,000 left in my budget. I need to spend it on something. Can I buy data from you? Or can I buy a few licenses of AutoClose from you? So watch out for that, because a lot of people do have to use their budget, and if it's in marketing, sometimes if they don't use their budget, it's actually used against them. So you want to make sure that if you do reach out to somebody and they have a budget, really spend time on that prospect, because that prospect is going to spend their money. It's just your job to kind of go in there, give that value prop, and tell them why they deserve to spend their excess money in the year on your product or service. So that's very important. Another thing that, I told our salespeople yesterday is we're starting October, we're starting the end of the year. You need to set goals, and those could be personal. I need to set, team and company goals, but you also need to set personal goals. Now, if you have a quota, and you want to decide you want to hit, 110% of your quota, 120%, maybe 175%, you need to commit to doing it and the necessary activities to help you reach that number. So you need to plan ahead. You have to plan now to be able to hit those numbers, because you want to make sure you're figuring out how much you need on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis to continue to hit those numbers. So if you have 170% to plan, and say you're trying to make $1 million, you want to make sure that October and December is where you're going to actually put your time, because November, with the Thanksgiving holiday and stuff, and people start traveling, you only might have the 2.5 months to actually do it. Another thing you want to do is review your year-to-date quota, and to see where you stand today. So if you might have 150% Q4 quota, but you also want to see where your Q1, Q2, and Q3 were, so you can manage to make sure that you're going to hit your overall number. Because a lot of companies give commissions and stuff on your overall number. Some, I know some people that do it quarter by quarter. If you hit your quarter, you get paid, but only if you hit your annual number, you get paid. So you want to make sure you know those numbers. One thing I always tell people is, when you are working on a kind of like a quota basis, you want to kind of work backwards. So you want to say, okay, from these numbers, how many demos, how many discovery calls, how many connections do I have to make every day, every week, every month, and for the quarter? And that will help you plan ahead and set that goal that you're going to need to be successful this quarter. Another thing I think a lot of people don't do enough is touch base with your manager to get feedback. I think it's very important in the last 3 months that you go to your boss, your manager, your regional sales manager, your national sales manager, sometimes your CEO, and set up a meeting with your manager to review your performance up to now. So in the first 9 months, how has my performance been? They'll probably be very impressed with the initiative you're taking, but more importantly, it might be able to identify things that you can adjust in the next 3 months that will help you take you to the next level in reaching that goal. So it's very important, I think, you touch base with your manager. For example, if your boss says you're not following up enough, or we find, in your CRM that you're struggling to establish urgency with your prospects, etc. Now is the time to find out. So in the next 3 months, make sure you focus and you spend some time with your manager to make sure you focus and put aside time so you can fix those issues or those improvements that you can do this quarter. Another thing is, kind of look at your calendar. I told our team yesterday in our board meeting, our sales meeting, I said, there's a lot of holidays coming up. There's Thanksgiving, there's your Christmas, New Year's, Boxing Day. There's a lot of different stuff coming up. And there's also a lot of people that like to travel in December because some companies, don't let you off during Christmas break because they don't want everybody off at the same time. So make sure you assess, how your calendar looks. How many days are actually in those 3 months? Do you have 90 days, 92 days, or do you only have 70 days because you're going on a week vacation to Mexico with your loved one? So make sure you assess your calendar. And that will also help you prioritize your daily and weekly and quarterly. By the way, if these tips are helping you and you think any of your salespeople should be listening, just tag them in the comment section so they can watch the recording of this and even come join our live right now. Because I hope a lot of this stuff will really help you guys drive more sales in Q4. Another thing I learned a few years ago, and I forgot who told me this, but it's always great to send that end of year email, where did the year go email. So that you want to talk about it's September, October, where has the year went? It's went so quick. Talk about some of the achievements, talk about some of the announcements, provide even a little bit of a roadmap of where you're going. For example, AutoClose, our company, we just launched our big A/B testing yesterday, and that's a big announcement. It was a feature that our clients wanted. It took us a while, and I'm telling our sales guys, guys, get on the phone and tell people, this is a feature they were asking. Now's the quarter to tell them, hey, we got A/B testing inside the platform, or that we increased our database from 10 million prospects to 30 million inside the software. I'm use those features, use those announcements to engage with your prospects. So talk about where the year went, send an email to them, but also let them know what you're going to be planning on doing in November, December. Are you planning to, change your dashboard? Are you planning to do a new service offering, etc.? Okay. Another one I want to talk about is, the low-hanging fruit, as you call them. Call your top 25 to 30 opportunities. Now, those are the warm ones that you might have a quote out, that were interested but needed some time. They didn't have the budget at the time. I always like to resurface and reach back out just to see how they're doing. I spoke to a client, an hour ago, who I worked with a year and a half, and he wanted to speak to me. And, a year, now he's saying, he had an issue with one of his clients that didn't pay him, so he couldn't afford the platform AutoClose. But he's willing to, he wants to move forward before the end of the year. So follow up with those warm opportunities. You want to continue to fill that top of the sales funnel. But you got to keep closing those opportunities that are in there, and put some urgency on there. Talk to them about the end of the year. Talk to them about your roadmap, what you're planning on doing in Q1 next year, and if you're going to raise your prices next year a little bit. Let them know. But if by telling them and calling those opportunities, they might devote some time before the end of the year and some money to your platform. So therefore, if you go through the problem, you go through the challenges, you go through your value prop with them, you might become a high priority while they're making decisions on what to do with that excess budget at the end of the year. One thing I've been talking to people about, and I know a lot of I guess you can call them account executives or sales managers don't like to do, is do a demo in bulk. So a lot of people like to do personal one-on-one demos, but with 3 months left, you might have to combine and put 4 or 5 people on a demo. So as a salesperson, don't be scared to build your own webinar. Like, have a webinar and say, hey, listen, John, we haven't spoken in 90 days, but I want to continue our conversation. We just added some new features. Come to our webinar. I'm going to do a webinar for like 25 people only. And even if it's only 25 people, build it for 25 people and only open 25 spots. So when you're at spot 18, you could show some sense of urgency. Hey guys, there's 7 spots left. I need 15 minutes of your time. I want to show you the platform, etc. The best time to do that, I think, is the first 3 weeks of October. So if you are listening to this, I would set up a webinar and promote it for 2 weeks. I would set it up actually by the end of this week and set up for like October 15th to 18th, but promote it for 2 weeks and try and get those 25 people and open those spots only for those 25 people as well. One more thing I think a lot of people do is, they want to book their vacation, your husband, your wife, your kids, everyone wants to, they want to travel. Pick your vacation days wisely. Find out when, you want to attach to. I would recommend Thanksgiving weekend is a good time because I feel people are out of the office a few days before, they come in a few days after. But don't plan it like the 3rd week of October when you could be really busy. So I would make sure you plan your vacations wisely, and make sure that you look at your schedule, you look to see how close you are to your quota, etc., and pick it like that. One final tip I would probably say is this is a great time to get cell phone numbers. And the reason why is what I just said with vacations. People are going to go on vacation. And when they're going to be on vacation, they're going to be busy. They're going to be trying to hit their own quota. They're going to try and use their budget. They're going to be on phone calls, meetings, etc. Get their cell phone number so you can reach out to them. If you only have an office number, when you want to get a hold of them, you might not be able to. So try to get their cell phone number when you speak to them. Say, hey, what's your cell phone number? Because I'm going to be traveling a little bit, and I want your cell phone number to get a hold of you. That's probably the biggest tip I would say is throughout the quarter is try and collect cell phone numbers because you're a lot more likely to close a deal with the cell phone numbers. And I know, for example, we got a big sale yesterday, and it was all through a text message. So we just followed up over text message. One of our prospects, a nice big company, was in Orlando with his family, and we started texting right after, and it worked out really well. So those are some tips I wanted to help you guys with today. I'd love to hear any of your tips that I might have missed that you believe will help everyone that's watching here today be more successful in Q4. So yeah, drop that in the comment section. Also, tag anyone that you want me to bring onto the show. We do this every week. If you like us, we can do this twice a week. But we just thought it'd be giving you guys some nuggets, some good tips and tricks every week would be useful. Some other things that I want to talk about is we are thinking of building more of like a sales dictionary, sales glossary of all the sales terms that you hear. If you think this would be helpful and you'd like a copy, if we build it, just in the comments say yes, so I'll know to send you a copy. So we're planning on building like a huge kind of like dictionary with all the different terms you hear in sales. So if you ever hear somebody says a term and you don't know what it means, you can just go through the glossary and do it. Well, hope this was useful today. I hope everyone has had a great Q3, an even better Q4, a great holiday season at the end of the year, and we'll be back next week. So if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. Like this if you like it, if you like the comments, and obviously share some additional comments today if you can. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next week.